Our story is His story.
Every time we tell our story, we give honor and glory to God.
Your story, no matter how spectacular or how ordinary you think it is
a story about God's character.
It is your eyewitness account of how God rescued you from sin and death
Through Christ and changed your life forever.
When we share our story with others,
we help them get to know what God is like and what He can do.
This is my story.
my story.
My story.
my story.
My story.
This is our story.
My name is Kristine. I'm a fairly new member at Connections, but I've been a Christian for about 6 years. I had a very traumatic childhood. I went through a lot of abuse. I went through a lot of mental and physical and sexual abuse as a child. And a lot of that abuse followed me into adulthood. I was even in an abusive relationship, so I've dealt with a lot of abuse in my life. I can see the hand of the Lord on my life even as a child though. I went to church on a church van that come and picked me up every Sunday. And that from 3 to 4 years old. I mean, that really was a blessing from the Lord, and I can look back and see how He was already working in my life. But I look back and I see the enemy working so much more. You know, as a teenager, I wanted to commit suicide. I dealt with a lot of dark thoughts, and a lot of that abuse come from family, so it followed me all the way up until I moved out. And I think that a lot of the years of my adulthood was both struggling with the lies from Satan and generational curses, and just really not having the example of what a Christian is supposed to look like. And I went to church for years, and it felt real, which is the scary part to me now, is that I thought that I was on the right path. It's embarrassing to say, but I used God. I used Him. I thought that if I did the fine little detailed things that I could get the blessings that I really wanted. It was I'll meet you on your terms, but in return I want what I want. I was going to the store with the kids and my van would not start, and I didn't know why it wouldn't start, but it just wouldn't, and Kyle wasn't home, and I sat in the van angry, and I had on the Christian radio and this sermon come on, so I sat and I listened to it about how God gives us His promises, but if we don't meet our side of the conditions, then we're not going to make it into heaven. It's this, and this, but you must, if you. And I wasn't doing the if yous, but expecting God's promises. And I think God started to speak to me right then and there, and that message was a hellfire message. And it let me know, Kristine, I love you so much. So then I started a journey trying to find my way back to Him. And it felt like, God's people are so ugly. Why would I want to be a part of that? And a light clicked on for me. And at this point, I'm, kind of transitioning from, I see the ugly in everybody else and I don't want no part of that, to, wow, look how ugly you are. Like, I was disgusted with myself and how I'd spit in God's face, literally. I can tell His blessings from time and time again and how He's moved in my life. But yet that backslide was like the ultimate spit in God's face. You're not doing it the way I want you to do, so I'm not going to serve you. So I start seeing my kids portray my attitude because they are going to be what they learn. And I didn't like that for them either. So I took that verse literally, and while I was backslid, I fasted for the first time in my life. And I prayed for 15 days. And so while I'd done that, I went on this journey of, I don't even know, how do you undo 27 years of torment and, toxic coping mechanisms? How do you undo that? I had no idea where to begin. And the more that I seen what an angry, nasty person I was, the more I hated myself. And I finally got to a point where I fully surrendered. God, I can't do it. I just can't. But I know that you can help me. And I'm just now starting to get to a point where I can see like the fruits of that coming about, where I can look back and see this is what a grip, what a hold that Satan had on me. Like, and once I started to actually read the Bible and see what God says about me, what he thinks about me, I think I really got to know the heart of God, the character of God. God truly loves you with an everlasting love, so much that while you're in your sin and you've been spit in his face, that he would continue to reach out to you and say, I love you. I don't care what you've done. Just come back. Just let me help you. That was the life-changing moment, that you still love me even when I didn't like myself. I'm not this trapped victim of a person. I am a mighty warrior in God. In my weakness, he is made strong, and I am consistently weak. So if I just be transparent and stop trying to please everybody, stop trying to live to their standards, if I just live in who God says that I am, then he is going to get all the glory. And I'm going to be all right.